So have you ever wondered what the reverse layout of Brands Hatch would be like to look at and drive? Well, in this video, we're going to find out. Okay then, so welcome to Brands Hatch, not the way that you will normally love and know it. First of all, we are in the Aston Martin V8 Vantage, and we are going to start going around this track, trying to work it all out. First things first, pit straight. This feels so bizarre, driving down the pit straight the wrong way. I don't know if you're actually going to need a braking point until you start trying to hit these apexes here. Really tricky final corner when you're actually doing Brands Hatch as it is. And that is such a horrid corner going that way. Much prefer that the normal way. This is a killer. That's going to be a blind corner there because that apex is just not sighted until you get over the corner. Similar here. So much of the track that is just not sighted. You actually don't realise how much of Brands Hatch normally is down. You're actually driving downhill. This feels very, very strange. I am using the track map on the bottom to remind myself of what corners should be and will be coming up. And even as you go down this downhill, that is incredibly unsighted as well. Feels very strange. Now this is now a corner and an apex that we can actually see here. And we'll try and give that a little bit of a push up to Druids. The iconic Druids. You're actually going to be able to brake way later than you'd think there because of the uphill run. And that is a lap, first of all, of Brands Hatch the wrong way around. First thought of it is that it is obviously very, very uncomfortable. I am now going to try and find the limits and try and push a little bit more into each of these corners. Now this was always the famous Michael Schumacher way of approaching a lap, was to go to a new track and just absolutely push the limit at free practice on a Friday. Find the limits, go over the limits, and then work out why you're not going to go over those limits anymore. One of the quickest ways to learn a track is realise how you're not meant to drive it. Now that is a very difficult corner. It's a tricky corner when you're going around it the correct way, but as you're coming downhill here and trying to brake and turn, the car just does not want to grip at all because there's so much front load going into those tyres or into the front of the car as you're braking and going downhill. So much weight and energy going to the front of the car. So this will be the second time we approach Druids. That's a little bit better than our first. Kind of just... Oh! The exit was not though. A little bit too far on the exit. Very much like Druids itself, you're going uphill into the braking zone, a 180 U-turn or a 180 hairpin, and then you're trying to get on the accelerator as you go downhill once again. So that is a little bit... you need to be a little bit cautious out of there. Okay, very interesting. Okay, let's go again. I'm going to try and limit myself to have sort of 10 laps, something like that. Right, we need to come off the power a bit earlier here. Trying to hug that apex, but again, the car just does not want to grip. This is where we don't want to hit the first apex. And we actually want to try and clip the second. I'm completely lost my bearings now of all these turns. That is that Hawthorne's Bend? We're going to have to give them new names as we hit them in reverse. I'm going to try and find a braking point, which is maybe the start of the barriers there on the left-hand side, if you keep an eye out next time round. And that is the difficulty, the biggest difficulty. Oh, as we do it again, is finding your markers of where you lift, where you brake, where you start to turn in. That is the fun of discovering and trying to work out and find yourself speed at a new track. I feel like we're starting to get the hang of this now. Oh. as I go straight into the gravel. But let's go one more time before we start trying to think about timing ourselves. That's what I mean about not being able to apex too early. Probably better off late apexing, because then we got a big long straight here. I'm going to brake at the start of the curb, maybe just after. Probably keep that in third there. Where's the apex? Where's the apex? Oh my god, we're cutting the corner now. Which is kind of what you do the correct way around. And we're going to wide from the apex on the first one. Ah! Wide from the apex on this first one, because we want to be out here and slowing down so that we can then attack this one as much as we can. We're in the Group 4 car, of course. I don't know if I mentioned that at the start. If you're an avid racer or Gran Turismo player, you will know that when I said V8 Vantage, I meant a Group 4 car. Right, let's go for a slightly fast lap. A probably not so fast lap. Late to apex. Yes! Yes! Go! How much of this apex can we cut? Or corner can we cut? Quite a bit. Miss the apex on the left-hand side. All the way out wide. Until we're on the... Ah! Until we're heading towards, I should say, the curb. Maybe it's not on the curb. Realising there I wanted to be braking quite a bit earlier. We don't quite manage to clip the apex through what I think, if I remember rightly, is Hawthorns. That's the big famous one at Brands Hatch, because that is the absolute killer if you get it wrong. Braking as late as we dare here. Start turning it in. Maybe it's a little bit earlier. That feels alright to the apex. Then getting the power down. This is starting to feel alright. I am a fan of Brands Hatch in reverse. That's as late as I dare to brake there. I think 1 yard, maybe 2 yards earlier, and I'd have nailed that braking point. Yes. Oh, no! Ah! No! We almost had that one. We almost had that one. I was just a bit too keen on the power after we'd clipped the apex, which unsettles the car. Other than that, it was all lined up and set to be a beautifully taken corner. Oh, a bit too hot there. And then trying to get as early on the power as I can to make up for it. Right, let's go for a push lap then. I'm tempted to try and put a timer on this and see how we fare up. Let's go. First push lap, let's try. Brake. Awfully done, that one. That's not a great first corner for the first lap. There we go. We braked the 1 or 2 yards earlier that we needed. That's also nicely done. The problem with Brands, if you run wide, you know about it and it costs you so much time. Clip that curb. That's enough. That is lovely. That is lovely. That is not lovely. That is understeer. That is understeer and that is not lovely. Ah! That is not how that one is done. Right, well, take one was ruined there. Let's go for another push lap, attempting this one. This is going to be it. Let's time this. Let's go. On the limit. Where's the braking zone? Where's the braking zone? Where's the braking zone? There it is. Go. Ah, that's running wide again. No. Git. Okay, our second push lap. Complete disaster. Let's go for a third. Right, starting at Druids again. Third push lap this time. Oh, that's not a good exit. It's not going to sacrifice us so because we need to lift here anyways. Right, let's go. Third push lap. Hopefully no mistakes on this one. Thankfully we have unlimited time and we're not in an actual qualifying session. That would be a disaster. Right, I'm braking slightly earlier here, I'm realising I want to do. Clip that apex. Top end of third gear into fourth. And a quick shift up to fifth before we slam on the brakes. Down to second, shifting back up to third. Could probably just stay in third. How brave am I here again? Fourth. Oh! I just cut the corner altogether. I don't know how they can actually police track limits when we're going the wrong way around, so we'll carry on. Although, Brands Hatch does its own job of policing the track. When you run wide, you end up on the grass. As we understeer our way through that tricky Hawthorns Bend. Engine braking, or attempting to. We'll cross the line, they'll say, where is your engine? And we say it's in that really tricky corner on the infield section there of turn 4. Oh! Right. We're going to cross the line with this one. We'll see what our time looks like. And you will see it overlaid on screen. Which means you also have to then load up Gran Turismo, open up Brands Hatch, and attempt to beat it. But we're going to go for an unprecedented 4th push lap in this quali session. Down to third on the brakes. That feels a little bit better, but I don't quite know. An early shift up to 5th. 2 shifts down this time round. I'm going to keep it in third. Nice. No track limits being cut on this one, hopefully. Yes, nice. Oh, or just a touch on the grass. That's okay, though. Right, I'm going to brake a little bit earlier here. Just let the car roll through. Lovely. Lovely. This is going to be a better lap, this, if we can hold it together. I've forgotten where the track goes. It goes left. Right, tricky braking zone coming up. Engine brake. I think there's a difference between engine braking and braking your engine. I think we broke our engine. Up to 5th, but a quick shift down to 3rd. Keeping the power in. Yes. As Jeremy Clarkson would say. Up into... down into 2nd. As we go up into Druids. Get my words out. 3rd gear out the corner. This is going to be us crossing the line. Oh, maybe he's lost a little bit of time on the last corner, but we're in 4th here, powering through. And there we go, across the line. What an absolute treat. So there we go, Brands Hatch in reverse. Well, not literally in reverse, but a reversed layout of the circuit. Incredible, incredible track in both layouts. That is a really, really old school circuit where if you go off, you're pretty much out the race. If you put a wheel on the grass, you've lost so much time, not only in putting a wheel on the grass, but in the damage that it does to your wheels and tyres further into the corners. The understeer is just unbearable, as we found out a couple of times there. Let me know what tracks you think that we need to attempt next. Spa is definitely on the list, and of course, we will definitely be doing the Nürburgring. But let me know what other suggestions on Gran Turismo or otherwise that we need to attempt a reverse layout of the track. In terms of our best time though, because Gran Turismo won't record your time going around the track, we actually have to overlay that after I've recorded this, and my fastest lap time was below. So if you think you can beat it, give it a bash and let me know how you get on. Drop a comment in this video and I want to see proof, so you need to upload your fastest lap. Other than that, I hope you've enjoyed this one. Hit subscribe and I will see you in the next video.